Hello, and welcome to the Information Exchange. I am your host, Dr. Karla Davis Luster, known as Ask Karla. Today is my March Women's Month celebration for our women leaders, entrepreneurs, corporate professionals, moms, grandmoms, mentors, and so forth and so on. Today, I had the pleasure of interviewing one of Chicago's finest leaders, Annette M. Nance-Holt, the fire commissioner of the Chicago Fire Department. Let me get to this. I want to make sure that I don't miss anything, because when I read this, I was totally just blown away. I was full, and I was very encouraged. I mean, you are, I just got to say, you are a bad sister. You are amazing. So let me read this. She's the commissioner of the Chicago Fire Department, the nation's second largest fire department. Did you hear me? The nation's second largest fire department, overseeing more than 4,800 personnel. Now, I have the UPS store or whatever. I oversee 10 people, and I go crazy with that. She's overseeing 4,800. We need to talk later, because I maybe need to go sit on someone's couch. With over 35 years of experience in fire service and emergency management, she has held almost every rank from firefighter to commissioner. That means that you know what you're doing, because you know what the beginners, starting out do, all the way up to what you do, which is amazing, because I find that sometimes when someone is in a position, they may not know what everyone do. They're put there. They may know what they're doing. I'm not saying that, but just to know the nuances of just the person that's at an entry level. That's amazing. Leading initiatives in training, policy development, risk mitigation, and emergency response, including the roles in Chicago's COVID-19 response effort. And we all know how COVID took us through, so we do not want to relive that, but I know you know the nuances of that. Now let me get to just some more on the personal level what she does, and this is still professional. Beyond her professional leadership, Commissioner Nance-Holt is a passionate community advocate. She is so humble. She's just sitting here looking at me. I love it. She co-founded Purpose Over Pain. I know that, and while we're talking, if you wanted to speak a little bit on that, that's great to let everyone know what that, what it's about, and if they can be a part. And the Blair Holt Scholarship Foundation, to support families affected by gun violence and promote educational opportunities, and that's always a plus. She helps she sits on civic professional boards, which is amazing. You're busy. Her leadership has been recognized with awards including the Chicago Defender Women of Excellence Award, which is an amazing award to get, the Percy L. Julian Peace Day Award, and an induction into the Chicago Vocational High School Hall of Fame. Okay, CVS, right? We were having a conversation. I went to her park. She's, CVS. Okay, we'll forgive her. So wow. She is also a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority and Company. Please welcome the amazing Annette Nance-Holt. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you. We've been trying to do this for a while, so here we are.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. I got to say, on all the interviews that I have done, it's just something in me that I just want. I'm like, I gotta get an interview with her.
She's so sweet.
I just look at you. You've done so much, and that's with time and energy and all the stuff that requires. It's a lot. So let's start off. Why don't you tell me about yourself? You can do education, family, upbringing, hobbies, whatever you want to talk about.
So I started out on the west side with my family. My family migrated here, of course, like most families did.
Okay.
And they were on the west side of Chicago. Then we moved to the south side of Chicago. And my dad had a small grocery store.
Oh.
So even when I was like a toddler, I was working in the grocery store. And then when we moved to the south side, we had purchased a store in Roseland. So I worked there throughout my years, even until I came on the fire department. I'm divorced. I have one son who's deceased, Blair Delane Holt,
Yes.
16 years old, was murdered, honor student at Percy L. Julian High School, coming home from school on a public bus, and a teenager with a gun shot on a crowded bus trying to shoot a gangbanger and shot 5 other individuals. And my son shielded a young lady that day.
Yeah.
And so everybody lived but him. So that turned me into my advocacy part. I've always advocated for young people through junior achievement or just taking kids to different places, exposing them. Mm-hmm. And then this just shifted where I went with my advocacy. So,
yes. And my condolences, and and that is tough.
It's the worst day of your life. It is.
It's like, as a mom, I felt it, and but he was recognized as a hero.
Yeah.
He was definitely a hero, and I remember seeing him at church and stuff like that. Amazing young man. So,
and we really hated that he had to be the hero, because his dad was a cop. His dad retired from the Chicago Police Department, and me being a firefighter, we never thought our son would be our hero. Yeah. Wow. And that's what he turned out to be.
Wow.
We knew he was special. And
we thank you for, I know here you have the Blair Holt Scholarship Foundation.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so at Percy L. Julian High School, this is what his dad and I decided, along with another sorority sister, Kim Saunders, who just retired as a teacher at Percy L. Julian. And we decided to get the Scholarship Foundation, and we wanted to make sure it wasn't just kids with honor roll or kids with high GPAs. We wanted to address those that are being left out, because we figured change could start from there. And also, Blair believed in education. That's all he talked about, was education. Yeah. And it was unusual for somebody that young to be so driven. And that's why we decided to do it in honor of him. And we do Peace Week there. We go back, we talk to the young people there. But Peace Week is amazing. And that happens in May, around the week of May 10th, where he was murdered on May 10th.
Wow. So, will it happen? It'll happen this year?
This year too. Yeah, okay. Even though my sorority sister, Kim Saunders, retired. Got to say that, Delta. She retired. She still gives and does it. She's working on a new website for us. Okay. So we do accept donations on the website. Okay. So the Blair Holt Scholarship Foundation, and they're just putting up something new so people can get more exposure. We've given over $35,000 to kids, or young people, I shouldn't say kids, going to college and throughout their college years. Yeah. We've even gotten doctors and lawyers out of this.
Wow. Yeah. One more question around this. How can someone apply for a student apply for
So
this?
you have to be a student at Percy L. Julian right now. Okay. Because we look at community, in that school is very underserved. Yes. A lot of the people don't have the money to send their kids to school. And so that was our driving factor. And we know that Blair loved his high school years there. Yeah. So that's why we decided to make it Percy L. Julian. That's not to say we won't open it up. Okay. That's not to say that. But right now.
But it's amazing that you're serving Percy L. Julian. I mean, because how many students are there that have needs and stuff like that? And you mentioned Roseland, that you had a grocery store. Yeah. My entire family is kind of in Roseland. Really? So they probably
we were on 109th and Wentworth.
They lived on 114th and Harvard. Well, they lived on 114th, a little bit further. They went to Finger High School. Yeah. So
wow,
very well known. Small world. So I gotta ask, why did you choose this line of profession?
It's really funny. I was not, in my wildest dreams, I never thought about being a firefighter. I've never seen a female firefighter. To be honest, a male firefighter that I identified as being one. I know as a child we went to the fire station by my house and visited, but I never said, ooh wee, I want to be a firefighter. So what happened is, Blair's dad and I, we were in college and we were dating, and we came home and they offered the fire test. And I had taken the police test, I had taken the state troopers, Cook County sheriffs, and so I just knew I wanted to do something different, because eventually I was in corporate America, and I was actually tired of corporate America. So yeah, it's a dog.
Tell me about it.
But government is, you got issues there too. Yeah. But anyway, so I went with a group of guys, and some of us ended up coming on the job. Ron went to the police department and his brothers, and myself and some of his friends went to the fire department. So it's nothing that I planned out because, like I said, I had degrees and everything, and I'm in corporate America,
Right,
and I could have very well stayed there, but I've always had this inner desire to help people. And I look back and I go, you know what? I was in the Red Cross Club in high school. I did junior achievement. I did all of these things. I did camp counselor. So everything revolved around helping people.
Wow,
Yep.
which is
Investments.
amazing. And I have my questions, but sometimes, when you're speaking, something that you say may trigger me to ask you something else. You mentioned that, it's, and what I see is like a male-dominated profession. How many, may I ask, possible females are into being that's a firefighter now?
So we have firefighters and paramedics, remember. So
Okay.
it's two different careers.
Okay.
But firefighters, they're either firefighter EMTs or firefighter paramedics, and then we have single role paramedics.
Okay.
So I would say maybe about 10%, 9 to 10% of our job are made up of females. And we have been actively pushing out there that you too can do that. And I think by me being a first female commissioner and a person of color, that it's going to really help push the narrative there, because I've met so many young ladies or little girls that say, I want to be like you. And I mean, for me, it's very humbling.
I want to be like you.
Girl, what come with it? What come with it? But you know what? It's very humbling, and it's good to see, because it's not an easy job.
Yeah.
It's not an easy job, but it's such a rewarding job.
Okay.
And you can't, just because it's male dominated, you don't have to fit into their space. You make your own space.
Okay.
And you keep who you are, who you are.
Do they, for the most part, you watch TV and all that stuff, are women welcomed, or what would you say?
I can tell you, when I came on, I wasn't welcome. I can tell you that. I can't speak for everybody. I've heard some horror stories, but under my tenure, I've tried to make sure that everyone feels included. Not just women, everybody.
Inclusion.
Because we're really one big family.
Okay.
Dysfunctional sometimes, but we're one big family, like any family.
Yeah.
I mean, when crisis happens, we come together, and we're all one. You don't see any bickering, any differences or anything. But just like any other career or job, everybody doesn't get along, or everybody doesn't see the other person's values, or they didn't grow up experiencing growing up with white people or black people or Hispanic people.
Yeah.
And sometimes we have to learn to shift and change. So being in the academy or going to a fire and being next to somebody different than you, you learn to appreciate and respect.
Yeah.
So I think everybody's looking to see who can pull their weight, because you're a team. You're a team. I depend on you, you depend on me.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
When
but
you're
I
in
think
that
it's
fire.
changed. It's changed a lot from when I came on, because they put me in Bridgeport, and I was like in the 1990.
Wow.
So, yeah, so it was a time when people didn't want black people in their house. They didn't care if they needed help.
Yeah.
They didn't want a black person in their house back then. So, and
Can
I'm
you
talking
share
about
an
civilians.
experience? I'm
Oh
sorry to
yeah,
cut you
yeah.
off.
We
Yeah.
went on an ambulance assist, and I remember we got dispatched to this call, and somebody was bleeding really badly, and so that person was like, I don't want to, in my house. And the officer said, well, if you won't help, you will. And then they,
Wow.
yeah. But I mean, that's just,
That's society. That's,
That's what can
It
happen.
almost seems like it's going back to that now with, things that are going on.
Yeah.
But, much respect, much appreciation, because that is a tough job. And have you ever been afraid, with all the blazes and, you guys
I've had one fire that really made my hair stand up on the back of my neck. But it's almost like you're on autopilot. It's almost like, I hate to tell you, cathartic to go into a fire. It's a sense of control, but yet peace. It is, because you're conquering something, you're overcoming something that's trying to overcome you. That's the way I looked at fires.
Wow.
But my goal in all the years I've been on the job, and actually now it's 36, I've made sure, because I was a firefighter, a lieutenant, a captain, a battalion chief, a deputy district chief, the first deputy fire commissioner, and a commissioner. And I've always made sure, when I was in the ranks leading people, that everybody went home.
Okay.
I've done my very best to keep people safe, but as you can see on this job, sometimes it's not possible.
Okay.
But that was always my prayer every day before I went to work. Lord, let everybody under my command return home safely.
The series that's on TV, is that close to Chicago Fire? Is that close to the truth of what goes on?
It mimics some of the things, but it's made for entertainment.
Okay.
And one of the creative directors, or one of the people involved, is Steve Chickarolis, and he used to be a exempt or a deputy district chief on the Chicago Fire Department. Steve is a great guy. I mean, super guy.
Okay.
He was one of my instructors in the academy.
Okay.
So he's part of planning that, but it's made to make people want to watch it. If you watch what we did, half of you will probably be like, I don't want to do that.
So, with that said, what is your greatest strength, would you say, as a fire chief?
I want to say...
It sounds like uplifting people.
I know that's compassionate leadership.
Yeah,
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I've always had compassion for people, but I think after losing my son, it heightened it a lot more.
Yeah.
And I just felt when people are going through a bad time, I want to try to make it a little easier.
Yeah.
And I think when you see all these, we've lost a lot of people in my 10-year line of duty deaths, and having to talk to the families. That's like I say, the worst day of your life is when you lose somebody unexpectedly. You know, you expect them to come home and they don't. And just trying to help them be in a space where they can make decisions. We can respect their wishes, respect their needs as far as services and everything else, and just being there for them. And I have a team that's helped us do that. You know, it doesn't help bring a person back, and it doesn't lessen the pain or the anger or the whys that you ask God, but we try our best to be there for people. And that's the one thing I want to be, that people know is from my heart. It's not because I have to do it. Because remember, I'm the first woman to do this.
Yes.
And I chartered my own way as to how I would be the commissioner. There is not a rule book or a playbook to teach you this.
You, Barack Obama, and several other people, they should have a specific Hall of Fame just for you, because you are paving the way for others. You're the first to do it. What's the playbook, for people coming behind you. Just once again, I said, a lot of respect, a lot of admiration for what you do and how you set the pace for other people. Like I said, when I grow up, I want to be like you. What is the favorite? It sounds like people, but what is the most favorite part of your line of work? What you say?
I want to say, for me, is being in the community. It really is. I remember being like on a fire engine and little girls seeing me going, oh, look, and waving, because I'm thinking about being a little girl myself and not seeing that. But being in the community, talking about careers in the fire department, talking about being a paramedic or a firefighter and how you get there, trying to encourage people, especially our young people, you too can do this, because they don't believe in themselves like we think they do. We were in a different generation. They don't have that same belief in themselves, and you have to kind of like push them, coax them, talk to them, encourage them, lead them, push them. So and that's what we need to do in our communities. If we want to gain our communities back, we're going to have to do that. We're going to be active participants with our young people. Can you
I guess speak to, I'm kind of going backwards here, but Purpose Over Pain.
Oh, yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that organization, how people can get involved, help, contribute, or what are the nuances?
So Purpose Over Pain, we founded it. A group of parents got together with Mayor Daley. Mayor Daley actually put us together.
Really?
And we met after we lost our children. So it's a group of us that started out with Purpose Over Pain, and we came up with our benchmarks of what we were looking to do. And one of them was help parents, number one, when they lost their children, or really it's supposed to be children, but we do help with loved ones as well, but more so children, and mostly gun violence, but it's any violence. And so we help them plan a funeral. We donate plots. We help with food or money or flowers or whatever they need. That's the first thing, because I remember being that person where people had to take it over for me. I couldn't make any decisions. I really wasn't present, to be honest, because that's your body's way of protecting you.
Absolutely.
The second thing is we advocate for common sense legislation. So the main thing is keeping guns out of our communities, because people can get guns, but they can't get jobs or food or education. So our thing has always been, let's legislate along with other people, other cities and states, to try to change the gun laws, because we know people have the right to bear arms, but we don't want people who shouldn't have them, mentally ill, criminals, children, just people, domestic abusers, to have have hands on guns. And the third thing is our community outreach, the mentoring, just the families that lose people. We do things for the parents. We do things for the community. Young people, we used to have 3-on-3 basketball or any type of arts and crafts. We do pop-ups in the community. We've gone on the west side, the south side, and we give out food. We've done Ronald McDonald House. We've done a lot of different things to be in the community, because it starts in our communities.
Yes, it does. And I've seen the organization on TV.
We do a lot.
And doing a lot of stuff. So once again, kudos to that, and I just really thank you for that whole organization, for the purpose of helping people, because during that time when you losing a child, you lose parents and stuff like that, but losing a child,
it's the worst. I've been in all those seats.
That's the
sibling, a parent, two parents, and a child, and I've been in every seat. And I can tell you by far the deal breaker is your child.
Yes.
It really is. So we encourage the families. We have events to try to uplift them, especially like Mother's Day.
Oh, okay.
A holiday. We have, what are we doing this year? We're doing something unique this year. I think it's like called a tea. So everybody has to dress with the hats and everything else. And they all get to be together. And unfortunately, our group is growing.
Okay.
So it's not stopping. But you can Google Purpose Over Pain to find out more information. And we're on Facebook too.
Okay. So you guys heard that. They're on Facebook, and you can Google Purpose Over Pain. And I'm sure it will tell you how to get involved, how to donate, whatever the nuances is around that. Please reach out to that organization, and I invite you, and I really encourage you to go to people can donate to the Blair Holt Scholarship.
You can Google
Foundation.
Blair Holt,
okay,
and you'll find the scholarship.
Okay,
she's just putting up a new website. I just looked at it yesterday. I mean, she's doing amazing work, her and her son, to put up this website, because she said once she retires, she goes, I'm not done doing this. She did radio and broadcast. That's Kim Saunders at Julian. And she's taken a lot of young people and turned their lives around. She is like the best. Wow. Not because she's my soror. That's one reason. But she is, because you don't see a lot of that anymore.
Yes.
You don't see it.
I'm going to, and I just have just a couple more questions for you. One, what is a day in the life for you?
For me?
As the commissioner. I mean, it's like, is it you wait for a call or something, or you have it's mapped out?
So no, it's not really mapped out. Okay. It's like as it is, whatever happens. There are meetings that I have to attend, whether it be cabinet meetings at City Hall, whether it's community safety meetings, whether it's special events. I do a lot of special events. I do the Women's Black Expo. I do the auto show. I do a lot of different events throughout the community, including, so I'm never bored. We have pop-ups in communities. We have a couple campaigns that we do throughout the years to encourage youth to join the fire department. We show them a day in a life, like firefighter for a day. So we have a lot of different events. I can look, parades, you name it, I'm there. The 100 Club, thank God for them. They support our families who are killed in the line of duty. Our Gold Badge family. So it's always something. Going out of town, sitting on all these boards, fabulous boards, being parts of committees. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I don't know what I'll do when I retire, because it'll be like from going 100 to 0.
Go fishing.
I don't like fishing.
I've actually never been, so I don't know if I'll
in camp.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Probably with the bugs, I probably won't like it. I probably won't like it. But my last question, if someone was interested in becoming a firefighter, what should they do? How should they prepare? What is the roadmap?
Okay, so this is what I would suggest. Look at Facebook, go on Twitter, go on X, and look for Chicago Fire Department. You can also go City of Chicago Fire, and then they'll take you to our page. On our page, you'll see everything it takes to be a firefighter. We'll show you how to do a CPAT. We'll show you how to challenge yourself with testing, how to get in shape, everything that it takes. I think the most important thing is listening out for when they're going to give a test. A lot of people think the Chicago Fire Department gives a test. We don't give a test. We don't actually hire you. I don't pick you out. It doesn't work like that. The city announces the rules. Department of Human Resources, they post a test. They post a exam announcement. People sign up, and it's done through Department of Human Resources. So it's been a lot of questions in City Council about that from a particular alderwoman. Keep saying that I'm the one that can make things happen like that, and I can't. It's illegal for me to pick people based on race, creed, color, gender, whatever you name. I cannot pick people because I don't hire them.
Yes.
But I do recruit. So we are out there everywhere we can be. We go to the CPS when they have different events. We go there to recruit the 100 Black Men. We did the auto show. We did the Women's Black Expo. We go to any community event that's going on and try to encourage people to apply for these jobs when they do announce it. Because a lot of questions I get is, when is the test? I have no clue.
You do all this after they announce it.
They should start preparing now if they have it in their heart to do it. I would start looking at how you do it. And don't just look at Chicago. Look at the suburbs. Look at the suburbs. A lot of them. And let me tell you, the biggest way in the door is to be a paramedic. If you go get your paramedic license, you could get in the door much faster to be a paramedic. And when they announce the fire test, you take the test and you cross over to be a firefighter based on seniority.
Wow.
So that's the fastest way in the door. And a lot of our counterparts, they tell their young people, go be a paramedic. And our people are like, well, I don't want to be that. But it pays, the paramedic part of this pays good.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's a great profession, allowing for a lot of time off, a lot of time to do something that you're passionate about besides your job, because you got to be passionate about it. And you got to care about people. If you don't care about people, it's not the job for you.
It's not definitely not the job for you, because you're putting your line on the life on the line every day.
Plus, you got to treat people right.
That's right.
You got to treat people right, because you're seeing them on their worst day, and our job is to make them feel a little bit better about what they're going through, and for them to say they made a difference in my day.
Okay. And last question, I promise. Are you at liberty to talk about the situation that just happened with the firefighter falling through? And
what I can say is we go to fires, a lot of fires every day.
Okay.
Firefighter EMT Altman, he was a hero.
Yeah.
He went into that fire. We go into them always not knowing what to expect, but we train for all of these things. But you don't train for arsonists. So let me say that we don't train for. And I'm not being funny.
Yeah.
So at least they have gotten somebody in custody. We're waiting for charges. It still won't bring him back to his wife and his young son and his daughter to be. His daughter might be born any day now. Wow. But it's and his family, his father and mother. I know his father well. I've worked with him. I've worked with his uncles. I knew his dad. His dad was a commissioner. Wow. So they have a long legacy in the Chicago Fire Department. And it's a dangerous job, but we train for it. And that's one of the risks of this job.
Yes.
That you may go to work and you may not come home.
Wow. Wow.
But our thoughts and prayers. We want people to keep that family in their thoughts and prayers, because it's very difficult. Imagine being a pregnant wife and this happens, and it's causing stress. It really is.
Yeah.
So
that's tough.
Yeah. But they're a strong family, but it doesn't undo this.
Yeah. So will the funeral be open to the public or no?
So right now, as of our podcast today, the funeral is canceled tomorrow.
Okay. Yes.
We will be doing a walkthrough tonight, Thursday.
Okay.
That will happen, but because she is in labor.
Wow.
So the stress has caused a different spin. She wasn't due yet.
Yeah.
So
and our prayers are with her.
Yes, thank you.
Prayers are with her.
And definitely, we share faith.
Yeah.
And Saint Sabina, we didn't talk
we're
about
praying.
that.
Yes.
And Saint
yes,
Sabina.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Saint Sabina. Let me tell you, Saint Sabina, Father Flager, that's my friend.
The best.
Yes. He's got me.
Come join us.
He's got me through a lot of things.
Yes.
And I'm gonna tell you,
as all of us,
all the stress on this department in my life, losing my son, losing my parents.
Yeah.
I've always had him to call, to be by my side, to be with me, to pray for me, and my faith. I'm gonna tell you, my faith is strong.
Yes.
It's strong.
Yes. And I got to tell you, anytime that my family have called on him, he's there. I mean, he is a genuine person.
He is.
He genuinely cares about
and that's
people,
what I love about him.
Yes.
People think, oh, he's no. Father Mike wants to do what Jesus said do.
Yes.
Where a lot of people look at him like, why is he doing that? Because he's doing the right thing.
He's doing the right thing.
He's doing the Lord's work, and that's what he's doing. That's why I'm going to be there.
Absolutely. So, as we will too.
Yeah.
Saint Sabina, thank you. But I love that you were able to make it today.
Me too. Finally.
Finally. Yeah. Definitely most respect, appreciation, and we thank you for putting your, doing what you do. You put your life on the line. Everyone that works for you put their life on the line, and once again, we should appreciate that, and we adore that, So thank you once again for coming here, Chicago, everybody. This is Annette Nance-Holt, the commissioner of the Chicago Fire Department, and I just like to thank you for coming and taking your time out, and thank you for all of the nuggets that you were able to drop to everyone.
Thank you,
so. Thank you for tuning in, and
thank you. See you in church.
Yes.
Go.
Today for our women's celebration, I am thrilled to interview another phenomenal sister, Lynn Cox Winston. for being here.
Thank
It
you
is
for having me.
amazing. I had the pleasure of meeting her and her husband during my journey as a UPS franchisee. She and her husband, Dan Winston, most definitely stood out. They were very kind, very welcoming, and I would call Dan for a lot of information and guidance or whatever. So thank you so much. And Lynn is definitely a Chicago-based visual artist and creative director. I want to read some more things about her. So take a listen. She is a creative director whose work in printmaking, relief, and serigraphy reflects a lifelong engagement with image making. And we're going to get a chance to see some of Lynn's work throughout the show. After more than 4 decades leading creative work in the commercial sphere, she has returned to the studio to pursue a practice shaped by personal narrative, historical inquiry, and the tactic language of materials. So amazing. She was raised in Brooklyn, New York. I love New York. My first experience was taking my daughter and her friend. We actually stayed in Manhattan at Times Square, whatever. I didn't want to come home. I love New Yorkers, you know, so. Raising. How long have you been in Chicago?
Well, my family moved here when I was in high school.
Okay.
So, and so between here and New York, family still left in New York. We did a
Okay.
lot of back and forth.
Okay.
But we moved here when I was in high school in the 70s.
Okay.
And I went to high school here.
Okay. What high
And-
school?
Downers Grove Community High School
Downers
South and
Grove,
Downers Grove.
okay.
So we lived in the suburbs.
Okay.
And it was culture shock for me,
Okay.
a kid coming from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And at the time, Downers Grove was very much farmland and wide open spaces.
Okay.
Can't do anything without a car, and I certainly was not used to that.
Wow.
So, so moved here in high school, and then I went to college, and I took it a step further. I went to college in Iowa.
Did you really?
Ames, Iowa, smack dab in the middle of Iowa. I just did not get enough of the Midwest, and so it was a good experience,
Okay.
actually. So
I got to tell you, Jory spent his first year of college in Iowa. At
Did he
school.
really?
Yes, he did. So we are we're more connected than what you think. Let me finish telling you about you. You spent much of your early life immersed in independent creative exploration, and you can explain that when we get to it. With encouragement from her parents, she was exposed to formal art training through Brooklyn Museum youth classes and the USDAN. Am I saying that right? USDAN Center for the Creative and Performing Arts. This is amazing. These formative experiences established a lifelong commitment to visual expression and laid the foundation for a career that is now bridging fine art and professional design. And can I throw in that I am so excited because Lynn actually worked on several projects of mine. The first book that I had, The Woman Tells, she did a lot of the cover, right?
The cover,
And then you did the journal.
Yes.
And then for I'm Not a Home Wrecker Opportunist, maybe you did the diary.
Yes.
That's my other podcast, the Us Review, dealing with relationships. So we're here talking about careers today. And once again, I am so happy to have you here because you are so talented, so amazing. You guys are, you are business moguls to me, you know, so I looked up to you. But why don't you, we got to get back into it. Why don't you tell us about yourself, your upbringing, school, whatever you want to talk about?
Well, I'm born in Brooklyn, spent my formative years there. My family, my mother's family was those folks that migrated north from the Carolinas. My father's family is Caribbean.
Oh, okay.
So we had a lot of really lively holidays. My father was a New York City policeman.
Okay.
And so my parents did get divorced when I was younger.
Yeah.
But they were both very supportive. They were both in my life. My mother was really the catalyst.
Okay.
She's phenomenal.
Yes.
She's 85. She's phenomenal.
Okay.
And she still is a big catalyst for me. She made sure I was prepared for today.
Yes. Oh, did
On the
she?
phone.
Did
Yes,
she? Maybe
she
we should
did.
interview Mom.
Oh yeah, she prepped me.
Okay.
She was a human resources director for TJ Maxx Corporation.
Oh, wow.
So she, and in my art career, she's really the one who recognized early that I had this talent, that, I was the kid sitting in the corner drawing all the time, and I would, just spend hours and hours drawing. My sister, on the other hand, was like climbing the wall, singing and dancing, and all of that other stuff. So we were like night and day, but my mother recognized that I had a talent and a penchant for this, and tried to expose me to a lot of things. It was kind of tough for her, being a single mom for quite a while, but she pushed.
Okay.
She pushed me. There were some things I did not want to do. Okay. And she said, well, you have to at least try it. I was the kid with the piano lessons, the dance. She said, try it once. You don't like it.
Keep it moving.
Keep it moving. We're gonna keep this going. Okay. I want you to be exposed to as many things as I could give you, and she did that.
So she was your inspiration, or what was your inspiration behind the whole, arts?
Once I started taking classes the first classes I took were at the Brooklyn Museum. I think I was 8 or 9.
Yes.
And I was going after school because we lived in that neighborhood where I could walk to school, I could walk to the Brooklyn Museum, and I could walk home. And we were latchkey kids. So, we had to do what you got to do.
Yes.
It became very interesting. It became very real for me, and I was like, oh, this is really a lot of fun. And I spent a lot of time at home making things and building things and collages and drawing pictures.
Do you make things with like materials and stuff too? You do that as well?
Not so much these days.
Okay.
But when I was young, I would do that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And so my mother kept it going. In the summertime, we were not, she said, you're not sitting at home in summer break. No. I'm like, please, can I just stay home and play outside?
Were you shy?
I was a little shy.
Okay.
And she said, no, you're doing this. And so she found this camp, USDAN, Center for the Creative Arts, which is still going on today. I went to the second and third and fourth year of their existence, and they were a camp out in Long Island, so it was a bus ride, like an hour bus ride every day. And it was a visual art camp and also performing art camp. So, and you had to do some of both.
Oh, okay. Well, it gave you good experience.
Yes.
Then. Yeah.
I could sing some of the songs from the HMS Pinafore play.
So you sing? I didn't know that you sang.
I was in the choir. I sing, but I don't sing.
Oh, okay.
So,
sing, not sing.
Not sing. No, I can sing.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was in the choir. That's something, because I had to pick a performing art.
Okay.
So that's what I did. But mostly, we were painting outdoors. It was beautiful. It was out in the woods. Beautiful setting to be in. And I remember Joan Crawford was one of the benefactors, so I remember her being there for the performances and walking through the camp. It was interesting. It was an interesting time. But that was very inspirational, and the things I've learned there and the people that I met, kind of propelled me forward. Yeah. And then we moved to Illinois. Okay. And out in Downers Grove, I was really one of 5 black students in this ginormous school at the time. This was in the 70s. Yes. And that's huge. I wanted just to get out quickly. And I had a wonderful art teacher, and I had a wonderful counselor. And my art teacher, we had a lot of sessions where I was sitting down talking to him, and my mother was concerned, well, what can she do with this to make money?
Yes.
You know how our parents
Oh
are,
yeah, oh yeah, my mother stopped me from going to design school because she said, you're not going to make any money. I said, either you think that I'm terrible at it, or you really think that you're taking business. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, our parents, they, bless their hearts, they want us to do better.
Yes,
than they did.
And as we, moving forward, each generation wants to get better.
Yes.
So was it a culture shock going from the Downers Grove School to Iowa?
That was yet another culture shock. Yes, it was.
Okay.
And I requested to have black roommates the first year.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I did.
You put that on the paper?
I put that on, and they did it.
Really? Okay.
I got to meet some wonderful young ladies from Water. I didn't know that there were so many African Americans in Iowa, but Iowa does have quite a history with black folks.
Yes.
And folks from Nebraska. And George Washington Carver went to Iowa State University.
Okay.
He got his undergraduate degree there. So, I got to hang, in a space that was comfortable
for you.
For me.
Yeah.
And then the second year, as people started to, move on and get apartments, I had a roommate. I stayed in a dorm. I had a roommate that was from a farm, and she was studying veterinary medicine for big animals.
Was this a African American as well? Okay.
No.
So you got a little bit more comfortable, able to.
Yeah, able to. And so they placed her. The school placed her with me.
Okay.
And we had, I learned a lot, and I learned to appreciate farming. And I went home with her one Easter break. She came from a dairy farm over by Sioux City, Iowa, and I went home with her.
How was that?
It was really very interesting. Her parents were wonderful.
Okay.
Her father, farming, if you don't want to work 24/7, 365, do not farm. Her dad was up before the sun. He went to sleep after, we were all tucked into our beds. By the time we woke up, he was on his second shift in the morning.
Wow.
And he had me get up early one morning to go out so I could watch him milk the cows. And they were mechanized, so they had these machines, and the animals were trained. He did a certain whistle call.
Wow.
And shift one came into the barn and went into their stalls. It was amazing to me.
So you got to see how all of that works.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
It was, so I got another appreciation for what our farmers
what they do.
What
and
they do
how they keep us flowing.
Yes.
It's been a big thing recently over the last year with them losing various parts of their mechanics to making them work.
Yes.
They've been really upset with the processes that's been going on with the government.
Yes,
but they really to speak to that, my grandmother farmed. She was in Atmore, Alabama, and she farmed, and we got to see her. I guess my worst experience with it, I shouldn't say worst, but my most traumatizing experience was when she was grabbed a chicken and she was going to cook and she went from there. And I was a kid, and I'm like, I think I'm still traumatized. I was like, I think they had to make me eat dinner.
That night, oh yeah.
It was pretty traumatizing.
But the chicken was fresh.
It was really fresh.
Yes.
Those chickens. So everybody tonight probably not gonna cook chicken. But anyway, that is amazing. And were you the only friend that she took home with her that particular time,
yes.
or was it a group of you guys that went?
I was the only one.
Okay.
I was the only one.
Okay.
And then we had another break. I don't know, it was spring break or something, maybe later in the year. And she came home with me.
Okay.
And I brought her home, and another friend who was a Japanese student. So they
Okay.
came home with me.
Diversifying it.
And my grandpa was visiting from New York, and my grandfather is staunch New Yorker, clean, sharp dress, you know, and we were just catering to him. He loved it. He had the best time.
But New York is an amazing place. So you're from an amazing place. I mean, although you migrated to Illinois in the 70s, New York is, I said, I'm like, I could probably live in New York. And I don't say that about many places. I say that about New York and Vegas,
Vegas.
I don't know why I like Vegas, but I like Vegas. I think I got mad at my son when he didn't, he got accepted into UNLV. And it was like, he said, I hope he goes there. That would give me a reason to go. But he did it. So, needless to say. But Lynn, tell me, do you have any projects coming up soon, or what are you working on?
I have some art projects that I'm working on. Actually, it's a visual project. It includes visuals as well as my writing.
Okay.
And it was prompted by a teacher that I met from the Art Institute of Chicago.
Okay.
And he said, you should write a paragraph or two about someone you remember, and just make it as descriptive as possible. Okay. I ended up writing three. Okay. And I chose a particular time. It was the 1960s, so I was very young. Okay. And these are people who are not here anymore, or people that I had a brush with. And I wrote these paragraphs about these folks, and one of them was about the Jewish man who had a grocery store downstairs from where we lived. Of course, New York, there's some of everybody that lives there, and so at the time there were a lot of...
It's a big melting pot.
Big melting pot.
Yes.
And the neighborhood we were in was just that... that kind of neighborhood. And this man and his wife were survivors of the Holocaust.
Really?
And they were, as I did my research for this project, I found out that specifically they were in Auschwitz, and I found that out because of the location of the numbers on their arms. A lot of survivors had the numbers, when they were in internment camps, tattooed on their forearms. And he had them, him and his wife had them tattooed on the inner form.
Okay.
And so as I did this research, there were like a 2-year block when they did that, and those people, and they were usually young people, that were chosen to work at Auschwitz. So they were people that they chose not to exterminate.
Oh, wow.
And those were usually the stronger men and the stronger women. And so that's how I found out that he survived Auschwitz. But he was the kindest man, and I remember him and what he said to me more than one time. My mother, your mom sends you down to the grocery store to get something. Get me an onion. I need and I would go down. Never had enough money. Always a penny, nickel short.
Nickel too short.
And he would say to me, "Darling, we're neighbors. Don't worry about it." And his kindness, and he was just so kind. And it was only later in life that I found that I really came to understand what he had been through, and to still have that kindness and still, be that loving towards someone else. Which was a big lesson for me. And also what he went through, which it wasn't in my lifetime. I'm just like the generation past World War II. And I think about our ancestors who were enslaved and what they went through. And so a lot of my work also, I have a family album of old pictures, and I use those pictures in my work. And I try to imagine myself, and practically all of the pictures except for one or two, I know or 3. I know that this was the next generation after slavery.
Okay.
But knowing in hindsight what they were facing,
Right.
That's where he connected. That's where I connect him in this. He was someone I actually got to meet who had been through this.
Yes.
What about my ancestors who look so noble in these pictures, who
Yes.
look so happy, who are enduring stuff we can't even imagine.
Exactly.
Or whose parents have endured stuff we can't
Can't even fathom.
We can't even
It's
fathom.
like we're just, I've always been told by my mom, and I'm sure your mom probably said this to you, there's always someone worse off than you that has been through more than you.
Yeah.
And they're able to, move past it and progress, so that's what it sounds like. I have a question with your work, Lynn, is it clientele based, or is just you doing your work? And
with the printmaking, it's doing my work.
Okay.
With the creative direction and graphic design, that's client based.
Okay.
And
Which do you like better, or do you have a preference?
I've been doing the creative direction and graphic design for so long.
Yes, you have.
And I really do enjoy that.
Okay.
I really do enjoy it. The printmaking, fine art, visual art piece of it is something I had always been wanting to do.
Okay.
I don't plan on giving up the graphic design, although I am slowing it down.
It's a smaller portion.
It's a smaller portion.
Will you
of
take
what
new
I do.
clients, or you just kind of deal with who you have?
Depending on the project.
Depending on the project.
Yeah.
What was your most exciting project, shall I say? Like big project that you worked on?
Well, I had some exciting ones when starting out my career. I worked at an ad agency, Procter & Gardner Advertising, and it was the first Black woman-owned advertising agency, and it was based here in Chicago. Barbara Proctor was the founder, and I worked for her, and we had many exciting moments. Where we got to meet a lot of celebrities. The staff was small.
Nice.
But, again, this was in the 70s, in the late 70s. And she was kind of at the height of her career. And so we were working on a lot of exciting projects. And for, someone in their 20s, like meeting Mr. T.
That was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. And we did a lot of fun things. But when I left, there is a client that I have now, and again, I work with a lot of women. It just happens that way. I don't know if it's because
this is Women's Month.
Level of comfort, but she's a Black chemist. She owns a chemistry company here in Chicago. And working with her has been so interesting. And so much fun, and I've learned quite a bit. More chemistry. I didn't do well in high school, but in school, but
she helped you to understand it better.
Well, she's like, do this, and so you have to have some level of understanding. I've had to do some research on my own because she was really busy. Like, okay, and pronouncing all the words, and this chemical does this, and this one does that. So that has been exciting.
Well, I have to ask, is there any, and this will be my last question, I'm getting like, like your time. Is there anything or any, something you want to say to someone that is inspiring to be, do what you do, like be in the arts and printmaking and stuff like that? What advice would you give?
I would say, do what you like to do. Do what inspires you. If you're working with clients, don't wear your heart on your sleeve. You can't please 100% of the people. So you need to accept that. Somebody will always have something to say. However, there will be those folks that you please and like your style. So take the criticism and take the notes that people give you, look at it,
Okay.
use it, and that stuff you can use it. The other stuff discard if you don't feel
Okay.
that it's gonna work for you.
Okay.
And keep it moving.
Okay. And if someone wants to contact you, what would be the best way? Or
The best way would be email. And my
Okay.
email is Lynn, Lynn, at vbadesign.com.
.com. And one last thing, you said that you had something on display. Where exactly is it? In the Bridgeport Art Center, right?
I did have a piece in the show here. It's down now.
Okay.
But coming up April 11th at Women Made Gallery on
Okay.
Halstead, the 1300 block of Halstead, they're starting a show called Seeds of Resilience, and I have a piece in that show.
Okay.
And that's up until May 9th.
Thank you, Lynn. I just like to, it is always so amazing to talk to you. It's always so amazing to work with you or whatever.
Likewise.
You are amazing. And as you heard it, please get over and see her piece. It's going to be amazing. Definitely. Can you say the place once more time?
Women Made Gallery.
Yes.
And it's in the 1300 block of South Halstead, just south of Roosevelt Road.
Hello, and thank you for tuning in today to the Information Exchange, where we talk about careers and things that will help you with your journey on whatever aspirations that you have. Today, this month, and this particular show was based on just celebrating women, okay, because March is Women's Month. Once again, I am your host, Dr. Karla Davis Luster. You can find me or find my books on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, Walmart.com, AskKarlaDL.com. You can tune in there or go to that website to learn more about me and about the things that I do. You can also purchase my books there, as I said. But once again, I just like to thank you for tuning in. I am so thankful to my guest today. Annette, Nance-Holt was here, and then we had Lynn Cox Winston, the graphic artist. This has been so amazing. So thank you for tuning in. Once again, this is the Information Exchange, and we look forward to seeing you again next time.